Hello and welcome to Adventures in Black and White with me, Rhea, and that's Rosie. Oh dear, I hope you can hear me over the wind. We're filming the 5th in our series, Educating Rosie, and I'm currently house sitting and the weather is grim, but hopefully we might have some footage. We're now a few days later than that last video. My intro, wow, it was windy. So basically today I'm going to show you a schooling session in hand that I've done with Rosie, and then also a bonus one of me two-line lunging her. So if you want to see both of those, stick along. I'm going to do a voiceover this time because I think that people might find that a little bit more interesting, and obviously if you do, like, let me know in the comments below. I just feel like there's not a lot out there of like in-hand content in like a normal day-to-day, like how we do it at home thing. You know, obviously some people are really into it and that's all they do, but like I want to get on my horse, so this is like what I do and able to be able to get on my horse. Obviously it's also how I did rehab for the last God knows how long. So yeah, so I use a mixture of Warwickshire, Tristan, and also traditional Spanish in-hand work, and I just pick and choose what works for me. So let's have a look. So this is going to be a warts and all video, so I haven't really edited pretty much anything out of this, apart from there's a bit where the pivot wants the dog, wants to look at the dog rather than me, and obviously I do that. So I start off every session the same. As you can see, Rosie's just following me round. I just walk around the arena, I change direction, just to check she's listening to me. This is a Warwickshire manoeuvre. I stop, she must stop when I stop, and I make her go backwards. Going backwards is really important for horses, and it certainly gets their attention. So yeah, she's just following me. She's quite low energy here, which is pretty nice. This is what we want. There I am, just checking that the pivot's following us. I have actually put the pivot on the wrong side of the arena as well, but I didn't realise that until afterwards. So now I'm moving into the TRT work. Now you see her be quite quick there with her back leg. We've been doing some work to get her hind end stronger, so she's been doing some PF behind and she just gives it to me. But in a way it's quite good because I want her to, when she's turning her, yielding her quarters, we want that hind leg to go under the body, not round the back. And okay, she's a bit over dramatic about it, but that hind leg is always going under. I also don't go very fast because she's young and she's quite weak, so we just go slow because we don't want to, you know, injure her. Now she yields the shoulders really well. She's really good at this. She's the best horse that I have ever done this with. I think because obviously she's coming from a place where she hasn't ever been trained. She has no, you know, existing injuries, so she actually finds the yielding of the shoulders much easier than the yielding of the hind end. Her hind end is where she would be a little bit weaker, but I just do that just to sort of get her focus on me. And then what we're going to move into, when the camera lightens itself up, is the sort of more Spanish in hand work that we kind of do. I don't know if it's Spanish or whatever, but my trainer who trains Spanish horses uses this. And this is how we taught her to lunge as a person on my own, not in a round pen. So she has to, I'm just tightening the girth here. So she has to understand that she's got to walk forwards and she has to understand what we're asking of her. So I'm sort of going along here. I'm walking about half a metre away from her. I have a whip and I ask her to stop and she has to stop. And then I ask her to walk on. So here she's learning what, obviously she knows now, but at the beginning she was learning what my body language means, so that then the idea is that you can step further and further away from them, and even though you're not, you know, there with them anymore, then they understand. See here we're, you know, nearly at a metre. I'm just asking her to turn. She's turning. everything's all calm. In a minute I'm going to ask her to stop. Now, I did have to use my rein a bit there. That was a good stop, but she went to creep forward. So she's a typical cob. I'm just changing rein. She will creep forward. She will walk on top of you if you don't get on top of her. And this is kind of what we're doing here. So you see me sort of lifting my hands at her. That's me pushing, making myself bigger to push her away. That's kind of also a Warwickshire kind of manoeuvre. She's got to move away from me as well as move towards me. And here we're just going over all the stuff that we do. So we always start every session the same. How long we do this for depends on whether she's had a lot of work or not. But it's just good because she knows then, and that's a lovely halt. So I give her a scratch there. As you can see, I'm just giving her a bit more rein each time, just reminding her this is why you need the whip, really, just to help you. Sometimes I use a lunge whip and she's absolutely fine with that now. And here you can see we're sort of moving into the more lunging phase. So we do a lot of what we call straight line lunging, which is what I call most of what I've just been showing you. So here I'm asking her to whoa. She's a bit of a creeper, so I'm kind of just trying to get on top of that. But with a straight line lunging, you're not putting a lot of like pressure on their bodies. She's young and there is so much good you can do in walk. You know, if you've got full control of them in walk, then they're fine. Here we go, we'll move up into trot now because she's calm, she's relaxed. I try and make the circles as big as possible. This arena's really nice. Like, it's not a massive arena, but it's really, really airy. It encourages her. And here, you know, she's off the front ring on her cavesson, and she's got a bit in, and she's just, you know, working out the bit there, putting her head down. I ask her for down transitions when she puts her head down because I'm encouraging her to do that. Oh, here we go. The Pivo picked up the dog for ages, so we had to cut it a bit here because the dog just stood there and watched me. But Rosie's going to appear here in a minute. There we go. So yeah, so basically I reward her for putting her head down. I'm trying to encourage her to work long and low, but I don't want to put anything on her to make that because it's got to come from within. And young horses in particular can lack balance. So here she's just learning to balance herself because I'm not hauling off her face. There we go, she's just dropped her head. Asked her to walk. Oh, did I ask her to walk? Yeah, I did. There, she's creeping in the trot, but there she walks, so she's a good girl. And it's just about her learning self-courage, working out her balance, because one of the things with her as a 4-year-old that had done literally nothing but sit in a field for 4 years was she had no balance whatsoever. Like, this is why we'd be doing the things with the legs, because she couldn't even tolerate the farrier because she had no balance. And here I am giving her a good scratch. So she loves the scratches. Again, because she's a cob, I don't really give her treats. I definitely not really treat her a lot when I'm training, otherwise she'd never leave me alone. And again, she can get a bit bossy. She's not overweight at the moment by any stretch of the imagination, but give her time, she will, you know, definitely be more of a good deer as she grows up. So I don't like training with treats, particularly with horses, because it can make them really nasty. And also, if you don't have a treat and they're expecting it, then they can get really annoyed with you. So, and also when you're riding, you're not going to be able to stop and treat them every 2 seconds when you're competing. I know some people do, not when they're competing, but when they're at home. But I just think it's kind of setting her up to fail if we went down that route. So the scratch, which is what she absolutely adores anyway, is what she's got. And then obviously when I'm riding her, I can scratch her when I'm riding her when she's a good girl. Oh, this is beautiful. I love this. So on this rein, she's a not so good. She likes to fall in a bit. So she's just got to learn how to balance. So I just encourage her. And actually asking for a bit more speed sometimes helps her go into her balance. So she's actually traditionally lunging now, but I don't have a lunge whip. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it's nice to be able to lunge her without that. And also you can see her ear is constantly on me, because that inside ear there, she's always listening. And there we go, nice transition to walk. And I was like, right, this is a good place. There we go, just after a bit more. I'm loving her hind leg at the moment. She has changed so much since I've been doing this. Now, I ran a little bit there with her, not because she was pulling me, but because at some point I might want to do running behind with the long reining. So I do stuff like that just to get her used to human running. I'm sure actually she's not going to do too much, not more now. But this is really good. She's just really relaxed. Like, it's not always going to be perfect. Sometimes her head's up, sometimes her head's down, sometimes she runs, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes the transitions aren't great, but if the transition isn't great, then you just stop and do it again. And exactly the same as when she's ridden. There she goes, she's just relaxing. And here I'm asking her for a walk and she doesn't really want to do it. But there we go, she's done it. Now, if you started pulling off her face, she would panic and run, and that's no good for her, doesn't teach her anything. So we'll work really hard to get her to understand what I want through body language and my voice, because obviously I'll be using my voice when I'm on her. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is pretty much a good place to finish. Now she can sometimes, she's expecting something else, so I give her a scratch there. We have a moment, and she's done really well. This has been a really good session. So I thought at this point it would be a good opportunity to test her mountain block training, seeing as we are going to be riding her soon. So she's never seen this. This is a bench, so I let her look at it. The Pivo's going to go a bit mad in a minute because it can't cope with me just standing still. I get up there again. Rosie's not bothered by it at all. Get into position, lift the wand, and this is just magic there. Just tap her on, and there. What a good girl. Really proud of her. Now I'm going to move on to showing you another bit of video about 2 days later when we go back and we revisit long reining. But I just thought in the meanwhile I'd show you my setup for Rosie. So Rosie, when I first started her, she just wasn't used to anything. So she found nose pressure, like if you had her off a standard, just like, you know, just off head collar, she didn't like that. She didn't like obviously being off the bit because she wasn't used to that. So what we did was we got one of these Keversons, my friend lent me this, and we took her off the front, and she actually found this so much more agreeable than, say, like that's a Julie down there that I started her off with, but she didn't like the nose pressure of the Julie, but she liked this. And that was a really good way to get her going. So what I have her in at the moment is, this is her actual broken down bridle. She's got a bomber bit happy tongue in here. We are trying a number of bits with varying success. In that video you've seen her actually in a French link. She has told me she doesn't like that. Bitting is a whole other video. So we've swapped into the happy tongue, which is a really good starter bit, and she likes that. So we put this one on first, then we put this one on next. But what I do is I put cheek pieces underneath, and then I pop it on her. There's my 2 lines and my hat. I don't wear gloves, but I always wear a hat. I'm not going to come after anyone for either. And then Rosie is just chilling, wearing her roller. This roller is about, I don't know, 25 years old, but it has lots of rings. And she's also wearing a Steuben cord girth because she decided that she didn't really like standard girths. And also when you put a standard girth on her, it's really tight at the front and really loose at the back, which wasn't very nice. So basically I've asked a few people what their opinions were, and this Steuben cord girth is great. I've also bought her a long one to go with her saddle, so that she's got a short one and a long one depending on what saddle she's wearing. She's got an Ogilvy pad on. Oh, Rosie, just let's show you Ogilvy pad. Just because I like to put some sort of padding under the roller, because the roller obviously sits right on their spine. I haven't got a fancy pants one without that. But I think this is a good compromise. So we have the ography pad. Oh, she wants to scratch. Yes, I know you're scratching. And then she's got all the rings. And what you'll see in the next video is I'm going to put the outside rein, when I long rein her, through the top ring. And this is a method that Tristan Tucker uses. And we have had the rein go behind her, but I find with youngsters particularly, when the rein goes behind, that kind of just makes them really sort of bunch up. So if things are going wrong in front and you're having to pull, not only are you pulling their heads in, you're also pulling their bums in, so they don't really have anywhere to go. And Tristan puts it over the top, and I actually think that's a really good way of doing it, because it keeps the outside rein in a good position, more like it would be when you're riding them. And then I don't like putting the inside rein through a ring, because sometimes that pulley effect, you can be really strong in that position with the ring through. So it's actually better to just not have it through. And then if everything goes wrong and you have to drop a rein, at least you've got one rein that's in a position that you can do stuff with. Anyway, let's roll on and have a look at Rosie long reining. And here we go. What a absolutely glorious day this is. And you'll hear in the background there the builders. It's been quite good being here. Rosie's had to work with lots of noise, but you see she's not remotely bothered. I even lunged her in the high wind the other day. This is all important because when we go competing, we won't be able to control the noise or the weather, so this is all good for us. So we just start off here as though we're straight line lunging, so Rosie knows exactly what's expected of her. But even though she does know, because we've changed things and obviously the bit feels different in her mouth, she's going to react differently. And she has been reacting differently, which is why we're doing this. So here I've asked for a halt, but she's just creeping because she's unsure. She's just unsure of this pressure in her mouth. She's like, I'm not sure about that, Mum. I give her a little pat and ask her to walk on. I'm just going to get my outside rein a little bit tighter so that when I do ask her, I can just, you know, put a little bit of pressure on her outside rein just to close it down. But, you know, she's walking on nicely here. She's listening to me. I'm just sorting my knitting out because when you've got two lines, you've got to be really on it. So I'm just asking again for the halt. I've helped her with my hand there so she knows. And she's like, okay, right, that's better, not perfect. Again, I need to sort myself out. So I've moved away from her. So I've got better pressure on both reins. You know, none of us are going to do things perfectly. I don't. Oh, that is really good. That's a really good halt there. I know I've been doing this for 20 odd years. Race horses, all sorts. Ran my own business breaking horses, and I still mess it up. I probably mess it up more now, or I'm more aware of myself messing it up than I was before. But, you know, we're not perfect. But as long as we do things in a fair way, she's going to forgive me. She doesn't know. And I'm just helping her be in a position where she's always going to get it right. So I'm just pushing her out to the outside rein there because she wants to sort of come into me. She's been looking at things. I might ask her here, just whoa. Again, that's a really bad one, but I'm not going to have a right go at her right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what was it I was doing wrong then. What did she not understand? And there you go. It's because I didn't have enough pressure on the outside rein. So that was a really good halt there. So she feels like she looks quite happy. She knows what's going on. She understands. She's not feeling, you know, overly stressed out with this whole thing. She can get very stressed out very quickly. Oh, here we go. The Pivo's gonna look at the horse box because it loves looking at things other than me. It's not too bad. Like, I have got the setup pretty good, but there we go. Oh, it's got, oh yes, there she is. But yeah, so here I'm now asking her to just go out on a proper circle. So she's like, yeah, okay, I'll go over there. And this is where, like, having her be used to the pressure on the outside rein is really important, because to keep her out now, I need to be able to put a little bit of pressure on that. Now she goes to trot, which I didn't want her to do. I asked her to whoa and she whoaed straight away. because she's calm and she understands. So I didn't grab a hold of her, I just used my voice. Using my voice is going to be vital when I first start breaking her in. So here I'm in a more, you know, rear position, asking for the halt, and she was really good then. That was really good. And then she walked on. And again, this is another reason why I'm doing this is not everyone long reins, but I like long reining, and I think it's useful for teaching her about rein contact, steering, and also independence. So she's got to learn, because there's not always going to be a human on the ground with her, so she needs to learn what is expected. So this is where she's learning. So she don't have a completely loose contact all the time, but you know. And here you see she's not as relaxed and long and low as she was, but there she's beginning to, because this is new, so she's going to be a bit more sort of on the edge, but there she sort of drops her head a bit and she can walk, and that's really good. This is a good walk, a little bit slow. All right, come on Rosie. And that was really good. So because she didn't react to anything, I'm going to just make her stop here, and then because of how the reins are, you have to stop them. So she has a good scratch. Obviously I sped this bit up because it took ages. Even the pivot lost interest. So yeah, because of the setup, you do have to stop and reorganize to go on the other rein. So I think eventually I will have her through like both the top rings, but at the moment, because she's learning, we can just solidly work on one rein and then we swap to the other rein. Now the right rein is her more difficult rein. If she's going to have a reaction, she does it on this rein, so that's why we always do the other rein first, so she's got a good understanding of what's going on. And I turned her very purposefully in that corner so that if she did react, it was sort of closing it down without me having to do much. But actually no, she's pretty good. Oh, Pivo's got more interest in me. See here, she's kind of struggling a bit. I have actually got a bit in front of her, so I'm probably blocking her here, which is why I love using the pivot, because yeah, compared to where I was on the other rein, I am sort of blocking her. So she's just, but that is a good halt. And then she doesn't want to go on, but you can also see she's trying to give me legs as well. So she's like, oh, I'm trying to give you something, but I don't know what you want. So I've now got myself in a slightly better position. I'm fiddling around with my knitting. She's quite used to this, so you know, if she was really flighty you would not be able to do this, but she's actually pretty chill. One thing I've done is lots of work with her, so she's used to me chucking the reins on the floor. That's a good halt again. She's used to me chucking the reins on the floor. She's used to the reins being around her legs. If she gets loose with the reins on, she doesn't ever panic about the rein. She just does what she needs. Oh, that is good. I like that. There we go. See, I show her this way and she's going on. But yeah, so it's quite important to teach them, you know, again, why am I in front of her on this rein? This is really interesting. She's also more inclined to, I think it's because she is just not so confident on this rein, so I feel like I need to be leading her, but she needs to be more in front of me. So next time I do this, I need to make sure I'm more there. That's good. That's really nice halt. Now she's also a little bit of a creeper, so like I said before, so there we go. And I think at this point I am going to start and just, yeah, no, I'm going to go on Rosie, over there. So I'm sort of pushing her out and then using a bit of rein, and there we go, she's good. She's, oh, beautiful. Oh, anyway, she's getting a good scratch because she did a lovely square halt. That's the other thing she couldn't do when I first started working, as she couldn't do square halts, but we're getting there now. So here we go. Now, because she's a little bit dodge on this rein, then I have got a bit more of a contact. But she's fine with this. Again, I look like I'm dragging her forwards. I need to be driving her forwards. See, she just wants to be in my lap. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. See, I've got a bit more of a contact. It's like, no, it's fine. You know, and this is just a confidence thing with her. And she just needs to gain the confidence. I need to be a bit better in my body position. But yeah, so here we go. And then I'm like, right, do I let her out? Do I let her have a trot? So this is where she sometimes starts humping. But I was hoping that humping may stop now. And I don't want her to have mad reactions. I just want her to be happy and calm. So this session is actually really quite nice. She's just coming towards me again. That's it. I'm just trying to do a halt from further away. So that's really good. So that's good there. And then also she's got to step forwards, back end first. So that's why I want to get in more of a driving position. Again, here I'm having to encourage her with my inside rein now, and also give her the support with the outside rein. So it gives you a fair indication of what she's going to be like when you ride her. So the right rein is going to be difficult. She's going to require lots of inside leg into outside hand. But she's learning that now. And then this trot, there we go. It's good. She could do just being a bit more away from me. So that's what I'll do. I'll encourage her. There we go. That's nice. So because she comes in, that's why I'm sort of pushing her out. And of course you can't do that when you're lunging just normal. So this is quite good because it's getting a more of an idea. And that's nice there. Oh, just gone a bit deep. So I'm pushing her on. But no, this is really nice. So hopefully over the next few weeks before she goes away to the breaker, she will learn to go on these like she does when she's just single line lunging. Everything's got to be long and low. That's what we want. I'm just going to go here. Oh yes. So I was like finishing the session here. So I was like, come on Rosie, just whoa. I probably should have had a bit more inside rein. But there we go. There you go. Oh, drop the reins on the floor. She usually stands still. She didn't. But that's fine. Because she's used to the reins being loose. So she's out, and you can see how relaxed she is. Thanks for watching that. I hope you got loads out of it. If you have any questions, then please do ask me. And if you want more of those, please let me know. Like, put a comment down here, because if you like more of that, I can do more of that. But what I have got coming up in the next few weeks are the videos on how to put rugs on horses for the first time, maybe also a tutorial on what sort of rugs we should be using, or that I'd recommend, because rugs are quite a personal choice. And then also Rosie's going to have her first experience of clipping. So lots and lots of great content coming up, and please do follow along. The more subscribers the better. I really enjoy doing this, so I hope that you guys get as much entertainment out of it and education as possible. And I'm coming up for a very big anniversary soon, so stay tuned for October.